First of all, when I signed Ronaldo, we had two clubs deeply interested in Ronaldo, were Ajax Amsterdam and PSV Eindhoven. He was 17 years old. And Ajax was the bigger club, the stronger club, but a club with a different history, a different environment, a different tradition. A club used to produce their own champions. PSV Eindhoven, I worked with Romario. I took Romario after the Seoul Olympic Games in 1988 to PSV Eindhoven, and he played there until 1993, breaking all the records. PSV, they were a lot more international, and the public and the fans, they were used to love somebody coming from a different country or from a different continent. Ajax was much more focused. Don't forget that in those days, the center forward in Ajax was Patrick Kluivert. And it was a top team with most of the players, I would say almost all the top players, created in their own academy. They were offering more money. But I explained to Ronaldo that, in my opinion, it was risky to go to Ajax Amsterdam and completely no risky to go to PSV Eindhoven. We did that, and Ajax won the league, but Ronaldo did break all the records in terms of goals scored per number of games. And he became Ronaldo. Romario had the same destiny. He went from PSV Eindhoven to Barcelona. In his stay in Barcelona, I had some disagreement with the club. We had some minor fiscal problems. Romario was an unbelievable genius in and off the pitch. And he arrived there. He promised to be the top scorer. He promised to win the league. The same thing he did with the World Cup in 1994. He promised to be the top player and to win for Brazil, and he did. And then he was tired to stay in Europe, and he wanted to go back. And he also showed me the way to take him out of Barcelona in a very strange way, because he told me that the weak ring of the chain was Cruyff. He said, if you go through Cruyff, he will let me go, because Cruyff will not be happy to keep me here if my mind is in Brazil. And it was exactly what happened, because sometimes we help the players, but sometimes the players help us. So with all this situation, it comes that PSV sells Ronaldo to Barcelona. And because I had the experience I had, I wanted to include a very detailed and very analytic get-out clause in his contract. And they underestimated the risk. It was the first case in the history of football of a clause, because Spain has a laboral law that obliges every employee to have a get-out clause from their job. But this is very difficult to use, because if you put in that clause that your get-out clause, it's $10 million, you must pay personally the $10 million, because that law is made for normal workers. So the amounts are reasonable amounts that a worker can justify and can have in his bank deposit. But when you speak for a player that must have 10 million, he must show how he made those 10 millions, and if he paid taxes to have those 10 million. So a club cannot come, give you the 10 millions, and you buy out your contract. The club must come to you with 20 millions, you pay 10 million taxes, and then you pay your buyout clause. But if you indicate that in a contract with the acceptance of the club and of all the clauses, it's a different thing. My version was saying that he could decide, the third party or a third club, that could acquire his football rights for a certain amount that was different for every market window. And unfortunately, Ronaldo, or better, fortunately, Ronaldo really exploded in Barcelona, became one of the biggest sensations in football. And Barcelona wanted to erase from the contract those clauses, because they did feel the fear of what could happen. Ronaldo was very happy in Barcelona, and we were more happy than him, because he was doing fantastic, and everybody dreams of playing in Barcelona. So we started a negotiation for a new contract. But unfortunately, we couldn't reach an agreement, not on the numbers, but on the formula. because they wanted most of the contract paid through different entities, not personally to the player, to companies, image rights, something that we did not feel the need to expose the most important player of the world, 22 years old of age, to the risk of some financial and fiscal problem. We wanted a federation contract with all the taxes paid and a clean situation. And we couldn't reach a solution. And for that, only for that reason, Ronaldo left Barcelona.